This is something that happens to me regularly in my life. Okay, so one time I had to self-administer a COVID test in front of an intern for clearance for a job I was doing, and I forgot I had had a nosebleed the day before. So I'm swabbing my nostril, and the stick just comes out dirt brown. Or, burnt sienna if you're an artist. And then we both just kind of stare at it. The intern doesn't say anything, because, historically their job is to just silently absorb trauma. And then I didn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. What do you say at that point? You're just like, oh, don't worry, it's not COVID. But it is upsetting. I am, in fact, a dirty little trash hag, and then I just tap dance out of the room. I don't know what the exit strategy is at that point. I just hope they're like, I had one of those weird dreams at work again. Yeah, I don't know. My body and I aren't on the best terms. Like, in terms of the body positivity spectrum, I'm positive I don't want a body anymore. That's sort of where my politics lie. But, I haven't been great to it. I'll own that. Like, I'm pretty sure I've been moderately dehydrated my whole life. Like, I heard at one point you're supposed to drink 8 cups of water a day. I was like, a day? A week, maybe. That's 1 a day, and 1 left over to keep yourself dreaming. I tried to test myself once. I put out 8 cups of water. I was like, just finish them all by the end of the day. And by noon, I broke. I gave 1 to a friend. I poured 2 into an orchid that's been dead for months. It's pretty much just a jar of rocks. I guess I'm an optimist. And then 1 I just had to throw in my face and be like, get back in the game. You're losing focus. It's a failed experiment at best. But I try to compromise by drinking seltzer. Seltzer to me feels like water that truly believes in itself. It feels like water that read The Secret or something. It's just operating at a higher frequency. Like, it feels like the type of water that his friends are like, move to LA, they'll find you, Born to succeed. Yeah, I'm a recent LA transplant myself. I moved there from New York last year. New York to LA. I know it's very brave, so few of us survived the journey. So much dysentery of the spirit. Like, I just hitched my wagon, headed west in search of a better avocado, I guess. But, yeah. It was a little bittersweet. Like, I was in New York for the past 10 years, and, it can be a tough city to figure out, but by the end, I was so free. I was just like Sarah Jessica Parna, skipping around, waving at buses, blowing kisses to pigeons, trying to hold Wall Street accountable every day before the bell rang. I was like, you guys, be better. Yeah, LA's been good. It's sort of a different scene. Like, someone complimented my energy recently. I was like, thank you. Glad it's working for you. I'm not sure it's always working for me. I just feel like in New York, no one would ever compliment your energy. They'd be like, get your energy out of my energy's face. Like, in New York at any given time, if you're like, are you mad at me? 7 strangers around you will be like, yes, and not need to explain themselves at all. You'll be like, you're correct, I'm the problem. Yeah, one thing that's annoying about New York and LA, there's cities where people move to fulfill their dreams, and so there's a lot of talented people just walking around, and sometimes it feels like you're just in a place filled with that one friend. That one friend you have who's just like really hot, really smart, great personality, so charming, and then over the course of knowing them, you just learn more and more things they're good at. You're just like, oh, and she's an amazing cook, and she runs marathons. She actually did one last weekend. Oh, and do you know she can sing? She didn't even know she could sing. It just came out perfect at karaoke. Isn't that weird? I just find that so inappropriate. It just feels like them going like, I will stop at nothing to destroy you inside, and we'll never address it. I just feel like we should all be like Care Bears. You got one talent, it's on your tummy, everyone knows what it is. And you can't be walking around with 3 or 4 things on there that's confusing and upsetting for people. And the rest of us who have things on there we can't even really tell what it is. People are like, I don't know, is it a quiet sense of longing? we have to tattoo something like "I contain multitudes" over our belly buttons, and then people are like, I don't really trust that bear. It has a weird energy. I thought you liked my energy. Yeah, I know I sound like a hater, but put down my tummy. I got room. I got room. Yeah, I am trying to work on self-acceptance. I've also been trying to get into meditation. I've been meditating using apps off my phone, which does feel like the wrong source to go to for enlightenment. It sort of feels like asking your drug dealer, like, hey, you got any tips on getting clean? It doesn't seem like it's going to ultimately be the source of peace for me. My phone is hands down the most controversial rectangle in my life. Yeah, for a while I was doing this mindfulness app. Like, the whole idea was to be present, live in the moment. I was like, live in the moment, that's a little advanced for me. So I was actually living in the very recent past, just sort of like 2 to 3 seconds ago, where I could just think about my last breath and be like, you went in, you went out, you killed it. No notes. Go ahead, treat yourself to another one. Yeah, I tried to find a new therapist as soon as I moved to LA. And hot tip if you're looking, psychologytoday.com, the website, they have a directory. You just pop in your zip code and it pulls up willing and horny therapists in your area. Like whoever's closest, they want to listen to your issues so bad. But I found some interesting contenders. Like, I found this hypnotherapist, but the problem was he had a goatee. And I was like, that's not the right facial hair to wake up to from a trance. That's not the kind where you sit up and open your eyes and you're like, oh, I'm safe. And then I found this other therapist who specialized in adults and babies. I was like, babies? I would pay just to sit in on her in a session with a baby, because how would that even work, Like, the baby's just like, ah. And she's like, yeah. Object permanence, that's hard. But, it's just a phase. You're gonna work through it. And then she's like, oh, we're out of time. She just covers her face. All right, thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of the show.